morning, 8 o'clock Central Time, 7 o'clock Mountain. Thank you so much for joining us on NCN. Coming up this hour, the search on for a child who went missing along an eastern Nebraska riverbank, the latest on the way. And supporting new mothers in central Nebraska. We'll outline a unique donation program and have much more. But first, Morris Langworthy with your AccuWeather forecast.
Light rain showers continue to move across the state today. Not a huge significant source of rain. On the high end, many of us will see upwards of just 1/10 of an inch, while other areas are expected to stay on the drier side. So this rain that we're seeing today and into tomorrow morning, not a significant source of moisture. Our winds are circulating around an area of low pressure right now. So some of us are seeing some southerly winds today. Some of us are starting to feel that northerly wind. Well, as that line of rain showers does push across the state, we'll see some winds gusting up to around 20-25 miles an hour. Behind this system, there is some calmer winds. Most of those winds will be staying under 10 miles an hour and become more out of the southwest. And that southwesterly flow is what's really going to be opening us up to warmer temperatures as we go into the weekend. Very warm temperatures. We're going to start seeing triple digits again. For the rest of today, widespread mid-80s.
All right, thank you, Morris. There's a live look at your Great Dane trailer Skycam in Wayne, Nebraska at 8:01 Central Time. 64 right now in Wayne. A little bit of a breeze. Not as humid as it has been. Things are starting to improve on that front a bit. And once again, highs in the low to mid 80s around northeast Nebraska today. But like Morris mentioned, we're looking at the possibility of some moisture, maybe some storms, and another heat wave on the way. All those details coming up later on this hour. But first, let's get you back to news, beginning in Omaha, where police are investigating a missing 6-year-old that possibly fell into the river near NP Dodge Park. Police say they were called just before 6 p.m. Officers say the child was playing near the water when they went missing. They say it's a strong possibility the child fell into the water. Police have searched on foot in the woods and around the water for the child, but they say the main focus is the river.
That water is deceivingly fast in the current, so even adults, and this isn't the first time that this has happened up here, so it happens to adults, and especially with a child, they're so small that, there's great concern for that.
Now, initial reports said the child was wearing a blue shirt and blue shorts, but other family members told police he was wearing a yellow shirt and maybe red shorts. As of last night, the child has not been found. An early morning fire in southeast Nebraska, meanwhile, brought several departments to the scene. Doug Kennedy has more.
Firefighters and equipment from 4 departments battled a house fire early Wednesday morning a mile south of Beatrice. The family who lives at the home along Lakeview Lane, southwest of the Beatrice Country Club, escaped the fire that reportedly began in a garage area.
The fire was starting in the garage. It was contained mostly to the south side at that time. We did an aggressive exterior attack as we could. Seeing once the fire breached the firewall and got into the attic of the house, it spread pretty quick.
Beatrice Rural Fire Chief Matt Langley said occupants of the home were not injured.
It was called in and it was radioed out to us that everybody was out. The family escaped fine. Sounds like there might be a dog or a pet fatality of some nature, but everybody did get out, no problems.
Beatrice Rural Fire, Wymore, Blue Springs, and Pickrell Fire Departments were on the scene early Wednesday morning, and Langley said officials were expected to remain there for some time, putting out hot spots.
Tanker from Pickrell, Blue Springs has a tanker and pumper. We also drafted from the pond down here with their pumper to get additional water up here as we need it, because we just can't get enough water here fast enough from town.
The fire call sending units to the scene came in at 2:07 a.m. The home and 3-stall garage that was destroyed is in a rural residential area south of Lilac Road along a drive that serves several homes. About 30 firefighters from the 4 departments were battling the blaze. From Beatrice, Doug Kennedy, News Channel, Nebraska.
Could we have a fully FDA-approved vaccine against the COVID-19 virus by the end of the summer? That's certainly the hope. And as Britt Conway reports, medical experts say that could get us one step closer to a vaccine for kids.
It's full speed ahead to get full FDA approval for Pfizer's COVID-19 vaccine. And sources told the New York Times it could happen as soon as Labor Day. But time is working against them. Less than half of the population is fully vaccinated, and we're averaging more than 85,000 new cases a day. The hope is final approval will motivate more people to get vaccinated. It's also expected to prompt more vaccine mandates, and it could accelerate the approval process for vaccines for kids under 12.
When you have an EUA for the vaccine that then goes to a full approval, that might have an influence on what goes on. We're collecting the data right now for what we need to make that determination.
Until then, more children and teens are getting COVID. Nearly 72,000 got it between July 22nd and the 29th, a substantial increase from 39,000 cases the week before. A new study shows long-term symptoms are less common for children than adults, but kids can have persistent symptoms, or worse.
This variant is capable of causing serious illness in children.
And some experts worry even a quick FDA approval might come too late.
At the rate they're going, it might be a moot point by the time they actually get it licensed, because you could have variants generated that then now escape the vaccines.
Reporting for News Channel Nebraska, I'm Britt Conway.
Still to come on NCN, cities all over the state discussing their annual budgets, and in Nebraska's largest city, that means once again talking about the possibility of defunding police. That story and much more next. You're watching NCN. Welcome back to News Channel Nebraska. Coming up on 8:07 Central Time. Omaha's Mayor Jean Stothert has said it over and over again. She will not defund the police department. At the same time, there's a loose-knit group in Omaha who's insisting again and again that Stothert should do just that. Joe Jordan takes us through the latest round.
I'm speaking as an opponent to the proposed budget.
Most of the complaints about Mayor Stothert's new city budget looked and sounded a lot like last year's. Omaha police get too much money.
The Omaha Police Department harms our communities.
Throwing good money after bad every year into our police department might address the symptoms of crime, but it does nothing to solve the root causes of crime.
The police are poised to get $5 million, 3.2% more than a year ago. Police Chief Todd Schmatter insisting no $5 million would come with a price.
If we were to receive that decrease, $5 million, one could equate that to be, you figure $100,000 per officer, that could be 50 officers.
The chief not indicating what other items in his department's $165 million budget could be shaved and still keep the number of officers as is. So the complaints mounted.
You would think if we were going to continue to spend this type of money year after year, it would buy us some oversight.
There's no indication the council will make any drastic changes to the mayor's budget, which has more than its share of fans.
We regard this budget as taxpayer-friendly, strong, and stable.
After all, Stothert is proposing a tax cut just a few months after voters gave her an unprecedented third term by a landslide. In Omaha, Joe Jordan, News Channel, Nebraska.
And according to a national study reported in the United States Surgeon General's call to action to support breastfeeding, about 50% of mothers stop breastfeeding because they can't produce enough milk. Well, starting this week, CHI Health Clinic Women's Health began offering the community a breast milk donation site that can help out mothers with lactation issues. CHI officials say they had intentions to put a milk bank into existence in the area for quite some time, especially because they say the needs for milk donations have been so high.
It's definitely a need. We've got babies that are born premature all the time. There's babies that are in the hospital for illnesses and mothers who can't produce enough milk. And then there's mothers like myself at the time who could produce more than what was needed for one or even two infants.
The CHI Grand Island Clinic allows mothers who produce too much milk, like Kennedy, to have the opportunity to donate their breast milk in order to help out other mothers through the Mother's Milk Bank in Colorado. Much more to come on NCN. We've got more news, your AccuWeather forecast coming up later on this hour as well. But now it's time for today's live daily Mass at St. Isidore's Catholic Church.
Today's morning Mass is brought to you in part by these sponsors.